Donald Trump has no problem taking shots at Canada, openly bragging about his power over the fate of NAFTA, as he did today.
If it doesn't work out, that's going to be fine for the country, for our country. It won't be fine for Canada, but we love Canada.
The Prime Minister has resisted returning fire, but in candid comments to an Alberta radio station, he offered up a rare public criticism.
You know, we have a president who doesn't always follow the rules as they're laid out.
Because Donald Trump is a rule breaker, Justin Trudeau says Canada must fight to keep an independent dispute resolution system in NAFTA. While that negotiating position is not new, Trudeau's words led to a few awkward moments for the Foreign Affairs Minister, who is renegotiating the trade deal just steps from the White House.
I agree with the Prime Minister in public all of the time and in private 99.99% of the time. And I think those comments, you know, he made some important comments.
The Canadian delegation met with the Americans twice today, with lower-level negotiators ordered to keep talking late into the night if necessary.
The atmosphere continues to be constructive. There is a lot of goodwill on both sides. And for Canada, our focus is on getting a good deal, not just any deal.
Canada won't speculate on how long it may take to get to that good deal. The president, however, leveled a new vague threat, saying he's ready to move forward with or without all three NAFTA countries in the next few days.
I'll give you a little surprise as to the name when it's completed, because it may have two or it may have three. We're going to find out pretty soon.
Soon may actually mean the end of the month. There's a new timeline in play here, and negotiators now have until October to finalize the text of a renegotiated agreement. So Canada and the U.S. may take their time.
So it does seem to me, Katie, that sense of urgency we felt all of last week has sort of faded away. Is that the case?
Well, publicly, all sides are saying they're willing to work quickly, and they all agree they were close to a deal last week. But sources predict things are going to slow down behind the scenes.
Okay, Katie Simpson in Washington again tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
Justin Trudeau has said there will be no new NAFTA without language exempting this country's cultural sectors. So what does that mean, and why is it really that important?
If the cultural exemptions go, without literature and art, there will be no Canada.
That exemption allows the government to invest in Canada's cultural industries, from the CBC and the National Film Board to grants for newspapers and magazines, and policies on how much Canadian content is played on the radio, even funding for award shows like the Junos. It's all meant to help grow and protect Canada's artists, publishers, and broadcasters.
We're in competition with huge companies south of the border. And so, in Canada, in order to do that work, we need to have investment from the government.
Right now, the U.S. can't trigger a trade challenge to stop Ottawa from subsidizing Canadian producers.
Otherwise, big companies like Disney and Google and Netflix and Amazon and Apple are going to be able to take our governments to court when they feel that they've lost money because we've invested in our own stories. And that simply doesn't make sense.
Canada fought to have this in our original trade deal with the U.S. in the 80s. Most recently, also insisted on cultural protections in our free trade agreements with both the European Union and Pacific nations.
It would be a giving up of our sovereignty and our identity, and that is something that we simply will not accept.
Canada's cultural sector contributes more than $40 billion to the Canadian economy and directly employs 600,000 Canadians. Perhaps another reason why Trudeau says he's prepared to walk away from a deal if cultural protections are eroded in a new NAFTA.